Hi.
How are we?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm working on lighting. Don't worry. I'm okay with editing everything.
It's okay. I was working on connectivity.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everyone is unmuted. And
I'm just working on not being sick and not coughing on the show.
Say, hello. Give me some light.
You've got some Halloween vibes going.
Yeah, if that's what you're aiming for, you got that.
This is me actually every day. Although I need to give myself a little light. Can you see me now? Can you see me now? All right. Let me scoop my chair over. All right. We got to have good lighting so you guys look amazing, okay? All right. Does everyone have their books on hand?
Yes.
I can go grab them.
All right. Well, we have plenty of time. Give it a go. Go right ahead.
Grab it?
Yeah, go ahead and get it.
Okay.
Come on, light.
My husband said he was going to play with the lights in here. He can remote light stuff. And I'm like, don't you dare.
This show has so much. You have no idea. Now, Tahani has been on with me before.
Okay.
And we never know what's going to happen. We have a crazy cat jumping the walls, climbing everything, going at the camera. I've had flooding. I've had electrical problems. We've had people in and out, you name it.
There might be kids screaming in the background for this one.
Ooh, there's light.
Hold on. I do have to try to get this one off of me. He likes the armor a lot and he gets super excited.
Yep.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Now, can you guys see me at least?
Yes.
That's not happening. I just lost me. Is that better?
Yes, right there.
Yes.
All right. I won't move.
You have to keep your head up or else the hat covers your face.
Oh, all right. Well, then we'll switch it.
There you go. Now you got it.
All right. Let me get myself situated here. You can tell this is semi-live, right?
Well, I do a live show on Saturday night, so it's it's fun.
Anything goes. I know you have someone walking behind you.
Hello.
You can join us. Oh, I can't reach my computer. Hold on. I got to speed up.
Oh, this is the greatest day ever. I'm already so excited.
Oh, I'm so glad. Alrighty, ladies, we ready?
Sure.
Now, Jet 75. Is that what you want me to call you?
No, you can call me Jane.
Jane. Okay.
I write it under J.E. Taylor, but you can call me Jane.
Okay. And Nicole Wells.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm asking ahead of time because, as Tahani will tell you, my guests, I'm horrible with names. So if I can't figure out what your name is, like remember it, I will give you one.
Okay.
And trust me, I can't help myself. It's just, I see someone and 5 minutes in, that's what I do. I already have a name usually picked for someone. So I've just always done it. Can't help it. It's me. All righty. So we are going to get started. All right. Good as it gets right now. It's all about your interviews. Making you guys look good. Y'all got your hair fluffed? Y'all ready? Cat's out of the room?
Yes.
Although it'd be nice to have a cat kind of, in the background. Okay. In 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone. I am Opus Night, and you have entered Night Vision. Tonight, we have Tahani Nelson. We have Jane, who goes by Jet 75, and we have Nicole Wells. Now, ladies, how are we tonight?
Fantastic.
Pretty good.
I'm hoping my voice holds out for the show.
Just to let everyone know, we were having some lighting issues. So we know everything's going to go beautiful from now on. So, Tahani, how is it?
You know,
How's your book going? Show us that beautiful book.
So I have 3 books out now, and then the last book in my series comes out on November 16th. So I'm really excited to wrap everything up.
Woo, good for you.
Yeah, I'm very excited. So I have oh no, it's not going to show it with the
Maybe
back
hold it
one.
right in front of you.
Yeah, just put it in front of you and trying to go back. There you go.
There we go. So we have The Last Fai, which is the first book in the series. But if you like women leading armies and wearing armor that actually covers all their body parts, I'm your girl. We have Fai Betrayer, which is the second book in the series. And it follows the aftermath of the war in book 1. So we always see that heroes save the day and then like that's kind of it, but there's always aftermath. And I really like to explore how that affects an entire society. I'm really excited because I had a whole bunch of fans recently ask for a bunch of short stories. And in preparation for the final book coming out on November 16th, I decided to surprise everybody with a book 4 days ago about anthologies that they all requested. So I wrote it up. It's called The First File and Other Short Stories. And if you can see it, you're not going to be able to. We're done forever. There we go. First File and Other Stories.
Beautiful.
And then Fai Ascended comes out on November 16th, and that's it. That's the entire Fai Chronicles. And I can't believe we actually got to the end.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Love it. Now, Jane, tell
Yes.
us about yourself and let everyone know what you write. And let's see that book.
Well, I've been writing since 2007. I've got I actually finished my 60th title this year. And
Woohoo!
then,
That's
and right
amazing.
now
I know.
have-
Go ahead.
Yay! And I have a series out, Season of the Dragon. This book is out. The second book, Dragon Storm, is out, but I don't have that prop with me. And then the third one is coming out in December. It's Dragon Dawn, and that'll wrap up this trilogy. I write urban fantasy, paranormal suspense, paranormal romance. Some of it's spicy, some of it's sweet. So I kind of go the gambit.
That is amazing. We are so impressed. That is awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we're so proud that you can join us.
I'm very happy to be here.
Wonderful. Nicole,
Yeah.
tell us a
Hi.
little about yourself, love.
Well, I just want to say I'm honored to be among this esteemed company. My goodness. Yeah, I'm working on a science fantasy series. So this particular series is actually based on acupuncture, Chinese medicine, this Chinese philosophy that's been around for 2 millennia. And so each book has a different feel to it. The first book is Upspark, and it's more of like a YA inspirational feel. They're all romance, by the way. And then the second book is more kind of like flagship for the series. It's Stardust, and that's like straight up science fantasy romance. And then the last one is more like, it's romance, but it's kind of more suspense and action adventure, and even a bit urban fantasy, I'd say. So that's the series I'm working on.
We love it. That's absolutely gorgeous. Ladies, you have outdone yourself. All of you. We are so proud of you. I love
Thank
it.
you.
So we're going to get to the questions. Now, there is a game that we play where I kind of run a barrage of questions, and you are not allowed to think about these questions. You literally have 2 seconds, and I'll go on to the next question. These are questions that are very important to readers that email me. And so we're going to start. And you're not going to know when your name's called unless I immediately tell you. Okay, so it's Johnny on the spot. Got it?
Okay. Yep.
Okay, here we go. Jane, how long have you been writing?
14 years? Is that right? I'm not a math whiz, sorry.
Nicole, what's your most favorite structure that you read but do not write?
Favorite structure that I read but don't write. You know, I think I need to hone my craft more because structure is not coming to mind. All I can think of is I like it when there's twists and turns and when I'm just taken by surprise. So
I love
not
it.
exactly structure, but
Tiani, what type of books interest you?
I love fantasy. I specifically love military fantasy. And even though I've never written it, I like horror a lot.
All right. Tiani again. What character do you love but do not write? Male, female, an animal, a mineral, water, scenery?
I kind of like shapeshifter books, but I've never delved into them.
Very nice. Good answer. Nicole, do you believe that a book should take years to concoct?
you know, oh, go ahead.
There's more. But when you go to write it, will you ever change it?
I think books are a lot like the birthing process, and each birth is different. So some come out real easy and some, oh my gosh, they just want to come out and it's a struggle and you need to, get the forceps. And I think all authors, I don't know, maybe this is too much of a generalization, but I think we're probably perfectionists with our babies. It's hard to let them go out in the world, just be like, okay, you're on your own. So I think we're constantly revising. Like we need someone to rein us and be like, it's done. At least a lot of the authors I know are like that.
Very nice. I like it. Jane,
Yes.
you have 60 books.
Yes.
What was the easiest and what was the hardest?
The easiest was I cranked out the Death Chronicles 2 series. That was the easiest to write. Once I got the idea, I just ran with it. The hardest, oh my, that's a tough one. I think the hardest ones to write are the fairy tale ones because they're standalone books. Because I have fairy tale romance, and I like series. So doing the standalones and trying to get the whole story in that one book is difficult at times.
I like it. Now, Nicole, do you care for cliffhangers and have you ever written them?
I think every single one of my books ends in a cliffhanger. Do I care for them? Oh gosh. I kind of, when Jane was just talking about the last answer, talking about series versus standalones, it's like, it's such a double-edged sword. I love series, but I also want the completion of a standalone. So the cliffhanger kind of delves into that as well. It depends. I'm a mood reader, so I could go for either depending on my mood.
Beautiful. Tiani, what character, when you're in the midst of writing dialogue, will trip you up? Male, female, child?
I think that the male child in my newest book has tripped me up the most because he is a male child, which I personally have never been. And he knows so much more than I do. And I have trouble writing characters that know everything about a world. That's one of his magic abilities, is he's like a walking thesaurus and a walking encyclopedia. And I'm like, I really should probably delve into this world more if I'm going to write a person that knows more about it than I do. So that's fun. I figured it out, I think.
Ladies, you did beautiful.
Thank you.
We enjoyed it so much.
That was fun.
I love putting people on the spot because you get the most rich, beautiful stories, and it's amazing. So we're going to dive into the show. When you are writing dialogue, how complex does it have to be? Nicole?
When I'm writing dialogue, I feel like I'm a passenger. So it doesn't feel complex. I'm just like letting them talk and it just takes off.
Jane, where does the structure begin?
Structure?
Structure. I know, I'm going to keep going with your structure because you have the most intensive knowledge.
Okay. I don't know. I'm a pantster too, so I have no structure. But the structure of the story, for me, it begins on page 1.
How do you set up now with you not outlining? Because are any of us outliners? No?
We're all pantsers. Straight.
Oh, Panthers.
I love it. Okay.
But that's me. I start with a scene and just go from there, whether it's beginning or end.
Now, do your characters lead you or do you lead the story?
Sometimes both. Mostly the characters do. And they've done things that have surprised the hell out of me. Like, I didn't know that. I didn't see that coming.
That is the most beautiful part.
Yeah.
I love that. I love it. When they mention it, when anyone has ever mentioned an outline, even when I was in school, it doesn't happen. I
Yeah.
just look at them like they have 3 heads and I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Wrong person. Now, walking through a story, how long do you believe it takes to build the suspense or some type of intensity to make the story memorable? Ladies, you can all shout out whomever wants to answer these questions. These are free balling it here.
I don't know. Tension starts on page 1 again. So you have to build it from there and go ratchet it up as you go through. At least that's the way I do it. So
If you slowly add more and more tension for like the first third of a book, and then like if you do it slowly enough, they don't really realize why they're suddenly tense, and then it all comes together about a third of the way in, and then they're like, oh, that's a lot of stuff they have to deal with, and the book's already a third way done, and then like it really ramps it up. I always end up sectioning my books off into 3s, and I don't know how I do that, but it's how it ends up being.
I like it. Now, do you make an actual, how do I put this? Do you make actual characters to a point of where you'll write yourself into a corner? So you got to remember, ladies, I'm restructuring questions that have already been asked to me. So when I'm posing them to you, I have to go back. I'm working backwards.
All of my characters seem to just like jump out of my head fully formed in full armor, like Athena. And I don't know if you've ever tried to tell a goddess what to do, but they don't answer very easily a lot of the time. So I get written into quarters by my characters all the time. And I think it comes with being a pantser. And then you got to backtrack and try to start again from a place that they won't, get themselves killed.
I like it. What is the most fun character that you have written or you can imagine writing in the future? Nicole? I'm going to call on you. There's no answer in the peanut gallery. I'm gonna pull you.
I had this one character who was the best friend to my main character, and she just kept trying to steal the show, and I literally put a pause on that book and wrote another book called The Worst Story Ever Written, just because they were goofing off so much. I was like, I have to get this out of my system. And I wrote, which I'd never done humor before, but I wrote this whole kind of mystery comedy paranormal romance, and then came back, and she was a little calmer, but fans definitely liked it. They're like, when's she gonna get her own book?
Oh, I love that. That's awesome. So ladies, do you believe males write differently than women?
Or minds are not the same.
I mean, I feel like just as a reader, I feel like I notice a difference, but maybe I'm just more sensitive to how they portray females. I don't know, but I do feel like there's a difference. You know, one of the best things I think about writers is we're putting ourselves in other people's shoes. You know, we have this great depth for empathy, and it can only go so far. You know, even research and feeling people out can only go so far. So I feel like there is some difference. Like, and I feel like the male characters I write, as much as I try and make it realistic, I'm sure it's not, you know, fully true to form.
I like it. Very nice. Now, how long does a story have to be for it to be considered a story? Now, we know that short stories can be up to 1,000 words. How short a story do you believe you could write yourself? Nicole?
Sometimes when I need to get the juices flowing, I just start writing, and I've created a few short stories just by doing that. So, I mean, even in 10,000 words, I could, you know, put a story down.
Very nice. Jane?
I think the full beginning and, you know, that has a full story arc was probably 4,000 words I did way back.
Nice.
The Halloween story.
Did you publish it?
Yes, it's in one of my short story collections.
And what's it called?
Grayson House.
Okay.
That's the short story I was talking about.
Aha. Tahani?
With my students, we learn about 6-word memoirs. Hemingway once wrote a 6-word story that said baby shoes for sale, never worn. So I think that a story can be only a few words. Personally, the shortest story that I wrote that I was fond of, that's won a couple of awards now, was Honeysuckle Sky, which was my first try at science fiction, and it's 3,000 words.
Very nice. Nicole? What is your favorite part in writing a book? Most favorite?
My most favorite part, as much as I would like to say I'm unattached to outcome, my most favorite part is putting it out in the world and getting that feedback. Nothing compares to, you know, this is your baby, your creative essence, and knowing other people are reading it and appreciating it. There's just nothing that compares to that feeling.
I love it. Jane?
When I'm in the zone, when I'm in the writing zone and it's just flowing like not like molasses, not like molasses, flowing like a well-oiled river.
There we go.
I really like that.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Tahani?
Anytime I get a strap-on armor and meet new people, it's like my favorite thing.
I love it. Me too, just so you know. Now, the short stories that you were speaking of, Tahani, tell us a little bit about them.
So in the first Filey and other stories, I had a bunch of, because of how the books work, the first book happens and there's a war. The second book happens 200 years later. And so there's a lot of stories in between the two books where people are like, I'd really like to know what happened with this character. Or like, this character came back 2,000 years later because of magic, but I know they had a bunch going on between then. Can you tell us a little bit about it? So I saved every email and every letter and every DM I got about somebody saying like, I really wish I could have heard this. And I wrote them all into one. And so the first Filey is probably the fan favorite character, one of the male characters in book 1 that people just really wanted to learn more about. He has a kind of a small role in the first book, and now the main novella in there is about him. And I think that's fun.
I like it. Jane,
Yes.
which book that you have written did you love the most? And character.
Well, the character's easy. That's the first character I ever wrote, Ty Eris. He became Ty Ryan, and he is in quite a few of my books because I meshed the series together, so they all sort of touch on things. So he was my favorite character, and my favorite book that I wrote was Hunting Season, because I got to introduce him into my FBI world. He's a master criminal into the FBI world. So it was really, really quite fun because he's one of those gray characters. Good heart, but not always does the right thing.
And that's your favorite book as well?
Yeah, Hunting Season was favorite one to write. It was the most fun.
Awesome. Nicole, what advice would you give a new author?
You know, the lesson I keep coming back to again and again is everybody is on their own path. And I feel like encapsulated in that is all these other little lessons, like don't compare yourself, and just having faith in the process and the timing, you know, just knowing we are all on our own path, which means our own challenges, our own rate, our own successes, and realizing just like the books are so unique, your journey through this is going to be unique too.
I like it. Tahani, same for you?
Actually, the most advice I give, or the most common advice I give, is basically the same thing. Don't compare yourself to other authors, especially the other authors you only see on social media, because you are comparing their highlight reels to your blooper reel, and you are never going to feel like you're doing enough. The only person you should compare yourself to is the person you were when you first started, and that writer would be so proud of you because you have come so far.
Now, ladies, do you think that writer's block exists? And how do you get out of it should it happen to you? Nicole?
It definitely exists. I think when I get hit the hardest is when I put the stress on myself and have a deadline, and that just seems like the antithesis to creative energy. And either if I can recognize where it's coming from, I'll try to address that source. Or like I said, I might just start writing, whatever it is, whatever I feel like writing, just to get the juices flowing.
Okay. Jane? Same.
All right. I don't know that writer's block is truly a thing. I think we just go through stages of non-creativity. It happens to us. But what I do what I've recently started to do is write 2 stories at a time and switch between them. When I get stuck here, I go over, to a different genre. I switch genres because I can't write in the same genre because they'll sound the same. But I go from romance to, to urban fantasy, or, romance to horror or something like that. And the switching I found actually helps because it gives the first one that I'm stuck on time to percolate to get through the scene while I'm still crafting something. And the ability to craft something, I think, helps keep the juices flowing.
You're like a unicorn. She's like a unicorn. Just I've never met somebody who's able to do all of this. You're like the writer we all wish we were, and that we talk about. Like, I'm like, the unicorn writer is able to do this, and it's you. And I just never met you before now.
This is why I do this show, because I have seen through the years so much advice, and though a lot of it is extremely important, and when it comes to writing, I do believe that most of it, to a certain point, is inherent. And I think as children, we listen to stories, we grow up on stories, you know, and if we can remember how engaging and beautiful those stories were, then when we're writing them, it becomes like magic.
Mhm.
Now, Nicole,
Yeah.
what is your master plan for the future?
Goodness. I feel like I should have some smart quip here of like, you know, world domination or something. I'm
already
just
doing
trying to
that.
make it. I'm just trying to make it through the day at this point. Master plan. I'm going to Vegas for the 20 Books conference. I'm like, live through Vegas because I'm bringing the family. I can't see beyond that point right now.
I love it. Jane, how about you?
My master plan is to retire from the day job in the next few years so I can write full time and put out more books. And I just want to keep writing my stories.
Now,
You know, I would love to, you know, make millions, but you know, just to write the story and get them out there, that's enough.
what was the first book, out of curiosity, that you wrote? Out of 60 books, do you remember that first gem?
Yes. The first book I wrote was Survival Games. And the second book I wrote was, used to be called Mirror Lake, but now it's Dark Reckoning.
I love it.
Yep.
Tahani, same question.
You know, the Fai Chronicles and raising the Fai army has been like the center of my life for so long now that I haven't really thought past that. Like November 16th is coming, and I feel like I'm gonna have to change like my entire identity and sense of identity because of this ending. So we'll see. Maybe I'll be a brand new person. Maybe I'll write about dragons. I don't have any dragon books. I love dragons. There we go. Came up with a plan right here.
Know about it. Yeah. There you go. There's one of the episodes we have where we were speaking about dragons.
Yeah.
Is there anything that any of you feel is overwritten? And that was one of the key questions that I had posed. And it was so funny because we kind of, one person after the next, it became like a domino effect that we were all adding the most ridiculous creature on this planet. And it was amazing. And I loved it. So I think when creatives come together, there's something amazing that happens because, you know, it's one thing to sit down, and I know a lot of writers are very solitary people, and we all have some sense of ego of how a story should go. However, our characters do tend to take over. So that being said, I think it's incredible when authors have the chance to all come together and listen to each other like, oh, I do that and I do that. And I just think it's insanely beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And Tahani will tell you, I love doing this show because of this fact. You know, I speak to so many about writing and about the craft. And the funny thing is, most readers just want you to tell the story in your own voice. And they want to know where those characters were created, how they were created, what made you think about those characters. And when we can do that, we can elicit feelings and emotions in each reader that is extremely special between us, like a bond between us and the reader. Now, that being said, Jane, do you have fans, well, readers that in your group that you have had follow you throughout the years that will actually come to you or have left reviews regarding your books, it's become such a special bond at any time?
Yes, I actually, a couple of years ago, when I was in Florida for my niece and nephew's wedding, I actually reached out to somebody who used to read all my stuff, and she had reached out to me about that first series that I wrote, and it got her through a really tough time. I don't know why. It was a really pretty violent series, but I met up with her and had lunch with her, and it was really nice.
That's awesome. I love that. See, that's the beauty.
I'm like, I'm going to be in Florida. Are you anywhere near here? And she's like, yes. I'm like, want to do lunch? And she was thrilled.
And did she ask a million different questions?
Yes, a million different questions, and I had a signed book for her. So,
Tahani, I'm with you. I think she's lovely.
Right?
Jane, we love you.
thank you.
Nicole, same question for you.
The first reader that ever reached out to me, someone read my book, and I'm like, oh my God. The first response, she told me I made her cry, and we've become fast friends since. And she's actually a published author now too. And so we're also going in this journey together. So I think the connections are so amazing. They're so amazing.
Definitely. It's incredible because I was in a restaurant 2 weeks ago, and I had a gentleman come up to me, and I had met him years earlier and never even knew it. And he said, our children went to school together. And I said, did they? And he goes and whispers to me, leans into me and he says, I know who you are and I know what you write. And I started laughing so bad. I was so taken back, but so elated at the same time. And I told him, I said, can I give you a hug? I said, I never get compliments that like this. I said, this is amazing. I get to speak to via email or on Twitter or whichever social media form that I use. But to have someone come up and actually, and we spent probably a half hour, 45 minutes just speaking about writing in general. And he knew every one of my characters. He knew so much, and I loved it. It was so much fun. Now, Tahani, how about you, love?
I have the Fai Army, which is the name of my fan group, and it's gotten kind of crazy because I do wear armor to all of my events, and so I'm very recognizable. And people come up to me a lot. It's like, I've seen you before. I'm like, I know. Because even if you don't buy my books, you're going to remember you saw me today.
Yeah.
So, and it's great because I have such a tight knit, it's not a huge army, but the people that follow me are incredibly loyal. And everything I put out, they share. And we all have this ongoing battle cry. And because I refer to them as my soldiers, and every new goal is like a battle we have to win or a hill we have to take, they all feel like they're part of it. So I'm like, hey, we need to get up to this number of reviews this year. That's my goal. That's the battle. Let's do it. And they pull other people in, and everybody picks up a sword and makes it happen. And it's amazing. And I'm really going to miss that when this final book comes out.
Well, think of it this way. If you have delegate more responsibilities to those readers, your call to action, they are going to love, and they're going to appreciate so much. Because I have had, though, like I said, I don't often meet a lot of my readers. I speak to the masses, put it that way, a whole lot of people. And that's on a daily basis. And I absolutely love engaging with people. I have so much fun. So Trust me, they're going to be there and they're going to love everything you write. Guaranteed.
And I know they will. And I love that about them. And I love that everything I do, they're like, all right, let's make this happen. Like they're there for me. And they're the reason these books exist.
Now, on that note, can you read the back of your blurb?
For which book? The first book?
Your choice, lady's choice.
The Fae have protected Clearwall for generations. With militaristic order and magic granted by the goddess Lindria, these women have reigned in unopposed prosperity. But when her monastery is attacked and her sisters slaughtered, only young Kaya is left alive. Forced to cope without the traditions of her order, Kaya travels the country on a mission to avenge her sisters and preserve her heritage. Thrust into a war at the heart of a broken empire, she's forced to face a dark past and even darker future as she learns the true state of the world outside her monastery's walls, the dangers of the poisonous army creeping across the land, and her own innate abilities gifted by the goddess.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. We cannot wait. And readers, I know, I'm going to ask her. What would you like to say to your warriors? You have the camera. Tell them whatever you would like to say, a personal message.
It has been such an honor to stand with you for the last 5 years. These books are here because you stood by me, and I hope you're ready for the end because it's going to be glorious.
Beautiful. Jane, let's hear one of their stories.
Okay. Sorry, my voice is all crappy. All right. Everyone thought monsters were things of pure fantasy. We were so very, very wrong. The end of life as we know it didn't come with a nuclear blast of light. It didn't come with the deadly impact of a hurtling asteroid. It came in a wave of illness that swept the world with fear. With all the humans in quarantine, quiet settled over the planet for months. Beasts hidden away for a millennium ventured out of their buried caverns to investigate the sudden stillness. Leviathans, serpent kings, and dragons came forth from the bowels of the earth, and they saw no reason to go back to their sleep after the humans tried to re-engage. The season of the dragon began with fire and fury and would end with a new world order, one in which these giant terrorists held all the power. Every military installation across the globe was rendered to dust by these intelligent creatures, and then came their demands. Humanity's complete surrender and servitude. Being a slave is not in my DNA, and yet I've been called upon to negotiate a peace treaties with these monsters. The only problem is every fiber of my being opposes their terms. If I blow this mission, the human race won't be given another chance.
I love it. Absolutely beautiful.
Sorry, my voice is all messed up. I have such a cold.
Well, I'm glad you could join us.
Thank you.
Now, what do you want to say to your readers?
Thank you so much for supporting me all these years, and the best is yet to come.
Definitely. Nicole?
I want to say
Your turn,
first,
my love.
those books sound amazing, and I love your covers, both of you. I can't wait to dive into those books. So I'm going to read a blurb from Stardust, which, like I said, is the more hallmark of the series, and the one I've been working on promoting. He's cute and smart. Too bad he's off his rocker. I'm drawn to Brayden from the first moment I meet him, but he says he's part of the secret society of First Peoples, and he expects me to join them in saving the world. I'm between tours and looking for some peace and quiet so I can be the real me, not Aurora, the Australian superstar singer, not the activist worried about sudden increase in natural disasters, nor the woman still wounded from her last relationship. Too bad I just discovered I can move things with my mind. Why do the good ones have to be so dedicated and supportive? It's all, we've been waiting hundreds of years for you with him. Guess to get the guy, I'll just have to go with it and save the world. Beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. And what would you like to say to your readers?
Gosh, same kind of stuff. Like, thank you so much for the support. Thank you for taking a chance on me. Thank you for going on this ride with me. I love every minute of it, and it means so much to hear that you guys love it too.
Wonderful. Now, ladies, how can readers reach you? New readers reach you. Tahani.
TahaniNelson.com, and that'll lead you to my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, all of which, if you want to just go to them, it's Tahani Nelson at all of them.
Okay. Jane.
JETaylor75.com. So that's where the 75 comes in. That's my website, and you can get to my blog, Facebook page, and all of my books there. And on Facebook, I have a page that's under J.E. Taylor. My Twitter is JETaylor75. So that's how you can find me.
Nicole.
NicoleWellsWrites.com. And I'm on different platforms, but I'm probably on Instagram the most. So Nicole Wells Writes. So I'm on Facebook and TikTok, not so much Twitter. I exist, but I don't post that much. So definitely reach out.
Well, ladies, it has been wonderful, and I thank you so much for joining us. And everyone, readers, thank you for all your dedication and for giving us the dream, the livable dream. Thank you very much. And ladies, I wish you all the best, and I hope to see you very soon.
Thank you for having me.
Have a beautiful night, everyone. This has been Night Vision. We'll see you soon. Good night. Good night, all.
Good night.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye.